Welcome to today's webinar. I want to get started today by telling a quick story. This story was first told by former First Lady Barbara Bush when she was being interviewed by Barbara Walters. She told about a time when she and the president were traveling through the hills of Tennessee. They were on their way to deliver a presidential address at a local labor union. So you can imagine there's this long parade of cars. There's motorcycles in the front, followed by the presidential limo, and it's got all the flags flying. And then, of course, there's all the SUVs with the Secret Service, and they're all driving along this winding country road. Now, as they're driving along, believe it or not, the presidential limo starts to run out of gas. Like, who would have believed that the presidential limo could run out of gas, right? But there you have it. The limo's getting low. So the limo driver sees that there's a gas station coming up, so he pulls into the station. Now, of course, the gas station attendant sees this whole long line of cars pulling in, so he runs out. He runs up to the limo, and he starts to pump the gas. Now, Barbara is sitting in the back seat with George. She notices the attendant run out. So she gets out of the back of the car, she walks up to the attendant, and she starts talking to him. Now, of course, the attendant is very thrilled. Here's the First Lady, and she's there. She's interacting with him, and so he is all smiles as they chat. They talk until the tank fills up. Then, as she starts to leave, Barbara gives him a big hug. She waves goodbye. She walks back around the limo and gets in the back seat. Now, George has watched all of this happen, and he is so proud of her. She's out there. She's spreading joy. She's delivering value to the public. So he says, "Honey, that was so amazing. Everywhere we go, you're out in the public, you're spreading value and encouragement to these fine people. You help make the country a better place to live. So what did you say to the gentleman?" And Barbara says, "George, I know him. We used to date." Now George looks back at the attendant. He's very surprised, and he goes, "Him?" Barbara says, "Yes, as a matter of fact, before I met you, he asked me to marry him." Now George does a double take. "Really?" Well, you can imagine at this point, George is feeling pretty proud of himself. You can just see he's there. His chest is swelling with pride. He's thinking to himself, "That's right. That's my First Lady. She got so lucky. She sure made the right choice." So he says to Barbara, he's full of confidence, "You mean to tell me you could have had that guy, but instead you ended up with all of this? I bet you're feeling pretty proud, pretty fortunate that you made the right choice." Barbara says to him, "Oh, George, don't be silly. If I had married him, he would be the president right now." That story always makes me laugh. It always makes me giggle. But, actually it makes a really powerful point. You see, Barbara, she's this powerful, confident woman, and she knew the impact that she could have on the world. She knew that she had a message to share, a service to provide, and that nothing would stand in her way. Now, isn't that true of us as business owners and sales professionals, as entrepreneurs or network marketers? We know we have a message to share with the world, a service to provide, an impact to make. We want to change the world with our products and services. Unfortunately, sometimes we have challenges getting that message out and sharing our services with the community because we struggle with selling. Well, if that is you, I want you to know that it is not your fault. You see, most of us are not naturally gifted salespeople, and if you've never had the chance to be professionally trained in sales, then selling will be a challenge for you, and your business may never be as successful as you would like. Well, what if there was a way to make more sales easily, comfortably, and consistently? Would you like to learn some great ideas to help you make more sales? Then you are in the right place. Here's a quote I'd like to share with you. "There is nothing more powerful than a good idea whose time has come." You see, it's possible that the message I'm going to share with you today is exactly what you need to hear to create a sales breakthrough for you. That breakthrough could create a permanent shift in the way that you sell. You may hear something today that you can use in your very next presentation and every presentation you give for the rest of your career. So great job for being here. My name is Jessica Madry. I'm a certified sales trainer with Eric Love Home International. We're a global sales training organization. We help people all around the world make more sales. We're a systems sales training company. We teach you to grow your business using sales systems. So today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorite ideas on using systems to improve your results and to make more sales. So if you want to make more sales, then you are in the right place. So I have two outcomes for our time here together today. My first outcome is to share some of my favorite ideas that are going to help you make more sales. My second outcome is to invite you to join my upcoming Sales Breakthrough Workshop, and I'll give you all the details about that at the end of our time together. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about me and my background. You see, sales is actually my second career. In my first career, I was an engineer. I worked for a major electronics manufacturing company. And really, I loved my job. I probably would still be there right now today. But when the economy did its crazy little dance back in 2008, I got laid off. And then just a few months later, in 2009, my husband was laid off as well. Well, as you can imagine, that was a very difficult time for us, financially speaking. So I started looking for another way to generate income. So I decided that I would join a network marketing company. I figured I was going to make lots of money on the internet, right? That's what they all tell you. Well, that sounded like a good idea, but the reality was very, very different. You see, I really struggled to build the business because I didn't know how to sell. You see, I'm not a naturally gifted salesperson, and I had never been professionally trained in sales, so I had no idea how to make a success of this business. So I was always on the internet searching for tips or tricks or techniques, anything that would help me improve my results in my business. And that's when I was first introduced to this gentleman. This is Eric Lofholm. He is the founder and president of our company. I started working with Eric as my coach and mentor. Within just 6 months of getting professional sales training, I tripled my results in my network marketing business. Now that taught me two very important lessons. First of all, that selling is a learned skill. Anyone can learn how to sell. It's kind of like playing the piano. You know, with the right training and effort, anyone can learn how to play the piano. Well, I'll tell you what, anyone can learn to sell and even become a master at sales, no matter what your level of experience. The second thing I realized was that here I am, I had no experience selling, but I could produce such an incredible result with professional training. So I knew that there had to be others out there just like me, people who were not getting the best results in their business, but with training, they could turn things around. So when Eric invited me to become one of his trainers, I jumped at the chance. Well, actually, my story is pretty similar to Eric's. Today, he's a master sales trainer. He's a coach, public speaker. You can see here in this picture, he's training from the stage. But you see, that wasn't always the case. Before he was professionally trained, he was a cook at McDonald's. And you can see him here in his also stylish McDonald's uniform, and clearly he is on a fast track to nowhere. But after he met his first mentor and was professionally trained in sales, he actually became a top producing salesperson. He eventually went to work for Tony Robbins and became one of Tony's top producers. About 15 years ago, he left the Tony Robbins organization and formed his own company, Eric Lofholm International. After that, he was actually hired back by Tony as a consultant, and he trained all of Tony's sales folks. Since then, Eric has gone on to train over 10,000 salespeople worldwide, including me. And here's a picture of me taken with Eric a few months ago. I had the opportunity to go out to the company headquarters right outside of Sacramento, California, and participate in an intensive boot camp with Eric. Eric taught me some amazing sales techniques that are proven to grow any business. And I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite ideas with you today. So in our company, we teach that there are 3 ways to increase your sales results: the inner game, the outer game, and action. Now, the inner game of sales is all about your mindset. It's your belief systems and your comfort zones. Now, the outer game is about the how-tos of selling. It's your database, it's your emails and your scripts, your follow-up systems. It's all the mechanics that makes your business run. And then, of course, there's taking action, and that just gets yourself to take a consistent action in your business so that you can meet your sales goals. So let's start right at the beginning. Let's talk about the inner game of sales. Remember, the inner game is your mindset. So what is your mindset around sales? You know, one of the first things I share with many of my clients is the need to let go of sales resistance and to learn to embrace sales. So one of the first things I want to share with you has to do with this idea of embracing sales. And the reason I want to talk about it is because in our culture, there is a stigma to selling. You know, we've been programmed to resist sales. So here you are, you're a good person, you have a huge heart, and you want to go out there and help people and impact the world. But our culture has programmed you to resist selling. So here's my question for you. What do you think of when you think of a salesperson? You know, this is the common belief around sales, that selling is arm-twisting, high-pressure, manipulative. They think of used car sales, liar, slick, fast talker. You know, this is the common belief about sales. But see, this is just a belief. Selling in and of itself isn't good or bad. Sales is just a skill set. For example, if I were to ask you, well, is gardening good or bad? You would say, well, it's neither. It's just a skill set. Is accounting good or bad? Well, it's neither. It's just a skill set. The same thing is true of sales. Sales is just a skill set. But if you have a belief about sales, maybe that was established years ago, maybe based on your environment or an experience with a salesperson, or maybe your own attempts at selling, whatever the case, somehow a negative belief about sales got in your head. Well, I want you to understand that that belief no longer serves you. So please listen carefully. Please hear me when I say this. Your mindset about sales, about closing, about asking for the money, asking for the order, whatever you believe about sales is very, very important. So I want to give you two mindsets to choose from. With one mindset, you can continue to resist sales. With the other mindset, you can learn to embrace sales. So here's my question for you. Which mindset do you think is going to help you reach your ultimate financial destiny? Well, of course, obviously the answer is to embrace sales. But if your view of sales is that it's arm-twisting, high-pressure, and manipulation, you will most likely never embrace sales. After all, nobody wants to be this guy, right? So you do everything in your power to avoid asking for the sale because you don't want to come across as salesy. But if you don't ask for the sale, you're not going to get the business. Or at least you're going to limit the amount of business that you do get. So your mindset will affect your results. You see, selling for most people is one of the 5 most important skills you can ever develop when it comes to making money. Now, the way we teach sales is all about elegant influence. You see, selling is just a style of communication. Selling is a language like Spanish or Italian is a language. It's a language that increases the likelihood that the other person will say yes. So here's my question for you. Would you like to get more yeses in your life? Do you want to get more yeses in your business? Do you want to get more yeses in your relationships? Well, now, of course, I know the answer to that is yes, or you wouldn't be listening to this presentation right now. I mean, who doesn't want to get more yeses in life? Nobody likes rejection, right? So here's the deal. If you want to get more yeses, then you want to get professionally trained in sales. Professional training is going to teach you to communicate with someone in a way that increases the likelihood they will say yes. So you can forget all about high pressure, arm twisting, and manipulation. Instead, we're going to teach you to sell using elegant influence. We teach sales through preparation and through sequencing. We teach you how to break sales down into manageable steps, and then we're going to teach you how to work on and improve each step. We teach you to sell using persuasion and influence. Okay, so all of that is the inner game of sales. That's all your mindset. Let's move on now and talk about the outer game of sales. Remember, the outer game is the how-tos of selling. It's your systems and your scripts and your database. It's all the mechanics of how you run your business. So I want to share with you a strategy that's actually one of my favorites. It's called the baseline strategy. And this is so powerful and so effective. When you start to use this concept in your business, you absolutely will close more deals. So the baseline strategy is a way of looking at your business as it stands today and then focusing on ways that you can get your business where you want it to be. So here's the concept behind the baseline strategy. You see, everyone has a baseline. Your baseline is the results that you're producing right now, and then all the things that you do to make that result happen. Now, depending on what industry you're in, you're going to measure results in different ways. Some companies measure results in terms of clients, maybe the number of recruits if you're in network marketing, the number of units sold, revenue dollars, whatever the case may be. What you want to do is look at your current results and then determine all the things that you're doing to make that result happen. For example, let's say that you're in network marketing and you're currently selling 5 product packages per month, and you do that by having 2 home parties per month. So your baseline is 5 packages from 2 home parties. Okay, so the baseline strategy says keep doing what you're doing because that is producing a result for you. So you want to keep doing that, but then you ask yourself a very important question. Ask yourself, what is one thing I can add to my baseline that will increase my results? For example, let's go back to our network marketing case. What can that person add to their baseline to increase their results? Well, they could do 1 more home party per month. They might sell more product that way, right? Or they could improve their sales skills and then sell more products at each party. Maybe they could increase or create a website and start selling products online. You see, there's lots of things that a person can do to increase their results, and the baseline strategy will help them focus and determine what those things are. So let me tell you a quick story about a client that I was recently coaching. His name is David McDowell. Now, David is a commercial photographer. I taught David the same baseline strategy. So I asked him, David, what is your baseline? How do you measure your results? And he said, well, I measure results in terms of the number of clients that I serve each month. So then I asked him, well, what do you do to generate the result of so many clients per month? He said that he gets most of his business from agencies. Agencies pass the work on to him. Well, then I told him, well, ask yourself, David, ask yourself what's one thing you can do to your baseline to improve the results you're getting. He said, well, I can create a portfolio of my work in a different niche altogether, and then I can use that portfolio to advertise my services to an entirely different group of clients. You see, the baseline strategy helped David to get a clear understanding of where his business currently stands, and then to focus on an actionable step that he can do right now that will increase his results. Okay, so forget about David, because this isn't about David. It's not about me or anyone else. This is about you. What is your baseline? What's one thing you can do to your baseline right now today that will help you increase your results? Well, here's one thing that you can add to your baseline that I know absolutely will help you close more sales. I want to share with you 2 of my favorite ideas that are going to help you grow your business. The first one is called an agenda script. Now, this was taught to me by my coach, Eric Lofholm. This idea is so simple, but it is incredibly powerful. When I started using an agenda script in my business, it really turned everything around for me. So I want you to use this in your very next presentation, and I know you're going to see immediate results. Okay, so here's the concept behind the agenda script. Really, the agenda script is about elegant influence and creating no resistance selling. See, you can do your sales in a way that makes it awkward and uncomfortable for you when it's time to talk about the money. I don't want that for you. I want you to be elegant. I want you to feel comfortable. I don't want there to be any anxiety for you or your prospect during your sales presentation. And an agenda script is going to help you sell with elegant influence. So what happens with the agenda script and why it's so persuasive is that all you're going to do is let your prospect know in advance what's going to happen. And then when you do that, they're not surprised by it. So here's how I use an agenda script. Maybe I'm selling on a conference call, or maybe a webinar like this. So at the beginning of the presentation, I'll say, I have 2 outcomes for the presentation today. My first outcome is to give you some great ideas on goal setting. My second outcome is to extend an invitation to you to join our Sales Mentor program. And I'll give you all the details about that at the end of the presentation. So I just elegantly said, hey, look, I'm going to close you at the end. So if I'm a realtor, I'd say something like this. I'd like to share with you how our meeting tonight is going to go. First, I'd like to ask you some questions to find out what's most important to you about the sale of your home. Then I'm going to share with you a market analysis of what other properties in your area have sold for. Then I'll share with you my vision of how I'd like to market your home. Then at the very end, I'll show you how you can hire me as your real estate agent. If you feel comfortable, you'll have the opportunity to hire me tonight. And if not, no problem. Fair enough? So here's what I just did. I said, okay, this is how our meeting's going to go, and I'm going to close you at the end. And you know what? Your prospect just said, okay. Now, how do I know that your prospect just said okay? It's because human beings respond in predictable ways. When you tell them, hey, look, I'm going to close you, but it's your choice. You can say yes or no. Either way, it's no problem. You're communicating to them that this is not going to be a high-pressure, arm-twisting, painful experience. They will appreciate that, and they will say yes. So when you use an agenda script, your prospect is expecting you to ask for the sale. And here's the best part. They just told you, hey, it's okay. Go ahead and close me. How great is that? They just gave you permission to ask for the order. So now you don't have to worry about it anymore. You see, that's why you use an agenda script. It's going to reduce anxiety and stress for you and for your prospect. In fact, you might remember that I used an agenda script at the beginning of this presentation. So as your sales coach, I'm modeling for you the behavior that I would like for you to adopt, the behavior that I use. Now, why do I use it? Because it works. Let me tell you a quick story about a client that I was recently coaching. Her name is Jennifer Reagan. During one of our conversations, Jennifer told me that she was struggling in her new sales job. She was having difficulty booking appointments, and she didn't know what she could do to improve her results. So I asked her, well, have you ever tried using an agenda script? She said, no. How does that work? So I explained to her the exact ideas I'm sharing with you. Then I helped her craft an agenda script to use in her business. Now, by the way, when you choose to join the workshop that I'm going to tell you about a little bit later, I'll be able to work with you to create your customized scripts as well. So I told Jennifer, well, first you say this, then you say that. And she said, wow, this is so easy and it makes so much sense, but I never would have thought of it. Well, she tried using an agenda script the very next day at work. Before using the script, she had been booking an average of 1 appointment per day. The first day she used an agenda script, she booked 4 appointments. Okay, that's a 400% increase in results in one day. So yes, the agenda script works, and I encourage you to use one in your very next presentation. You see, this is what makes a system duplicatable. Now, a naturally gifted salesperson might intuitively use an agenda script, but see, the rest of us aren't going to do that. So here's what I'm saying to you. This is what a naturally born salesperson does. They do it without necessarily even knowing that's what they're doing. But you, now that you're being professionally trained and coached, you can model what a naturally gifted salesperson does, and you will produce a similar result. So I promised you 2 of my favorite ideas. Here's the second idea for you, and this one is all about closing. People always ask, how can I close more deals? Well, I'll tell you, closing is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Now, one of the things you're going to find out when you start to coach with us, when you join the workshop I'm going to tell you about, you're going to hear a lot about dissect, dissect, dissect. See, what we've done over time is looked at a sales presentation, we've broken it down into steps, and then we can work on and strengthen each step individually. Imagine a sales presentation is like a chain. I'm sure you've heard the expression that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So each link in the chain is a step in the sales process. Now, as you learn each step and you work on each step, you get better at it. And as you get better at each step, that link gets stronger. So, of course, your overall presentation gets stronger, and you're going to start to close at a higher level. So how do we apply this idea of dissect to closing? Well, you just take the close, which is one link of the sales chain, and dissect it into 3 smaller, more manageable links. Then you can work on each one individually. And what's so cool about this is that you can use it on your very next sales presentation. So what we're going to do is break the close down into 3 steps. The transition into the close, the body of the close, and the final close. Okay, so we just dissect the close into 3 sections. The transition into the close, the body of the close, and the final close. All right, so step 1, the transition into the close. Now that's just a bridging statement. It's a statement that allows you to move from the body of the presentation into the close. Now why do you want to use this bridging statement? Well, you know how sometimes when you get to the close, you start to feel anxious because it's time to ask for the money? So instead of being present in your presentation with your prospect, actually now you're just in your head and you're thinking to yourself, oh no, here comes the time I'm going to have to ask him to buy. And you start to get nervous and you start to get uncomfortable. Well, one thing that's going to reduce the anxiety is a transition statement that eases the shift from the body of the presentation into the close. It's basically your way of saying to your prospect, hey, guess what? I'm getting ready to close you. So you use this elegant bridge statement. That's what we teach in the workshop I'm going to invite you to join. We're going to teach you elegant influence. Now, remember the agenda script I just taught you. See, you use the agenda script as a way to pre-frame your prospect for the close. Pre-framing is just a way of letting your prospect know in advance what's going to happen, so they're expecting you to close them. Now, this is a great tool for you if you feel anxiety in your sales presentations. So when you, like I would highly recommend, start to use an agenda script early in your presentation, you're laying the framework for the close that's going to come, so your prospect is expecting it. So let's say, for example, that you're in network marketing and you use a business, you're giving a business opportunity presentation. Now, early in your presentation, you used an agenda script. You told your prospect, hey, this is how the meeting's going to go, and then you said, then I'll share with you the next step if you'd like to move forward with me. If you feel comfortable, you have the opportunity to start working with me tonight. And if not, no problem. Sound good? So, now after you give your presentation, you transition into the close by saying something like this. What I'd like to do now is share with you how you can start working with me tonight. See how simple that is? That's your way of saying, hey, hello, I'm closing you now. Now maybe you're thinking to yourself, well, that's fabulous, but I'm not in network marketing, so that's not going to work for me. Okay, that's no problem. Just use a variation. Say something like, what I'd like to do now is share with you how I work with clients like yourself. Or, what I'd like to do now is share with you the next step if you'd like to hire me as your real estate agent. Or, what I'd like to do now is share with you how you can take advantage of these savings starting tonight. You see, that's your elegant way of saying, hey, look, I told you I was going to close you, so hang on, because here it comes. But see, you did it elegantly. You did it comfortably and with integrity. So now neither you nor your prospect feel any anxiety. You see how powerful that is. So closing is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1, you transition into the close. Step 2 is the body of the close. Now the body of the close is where you go over all the details of the product or service that you're offering. You see, every close is made up of individual components. So here are some examples of components of the close. The price, the guarantee or warranty, the length of the contract, an incentive for buying today, methods of payment, any bonuses that you're offering. So you just make a list of all the key things that you need to cover. That's it. You just make a list of the key things you want to cover, and then once you've done that, you just put them in order. See, and that's all just about sequencing. So your first comes the transition into the close. That's going to be your bridging statement. You give your prospect a heads up that the close is coming. Then comes the body of the close, which is all the components that make up whatever it is you're offering your prospect. Now the third step is the final close. And the final close is where you actually ask for the order. So here are some examples of a final close. Are you ready to get started? How do you feel about moving forward? How would you like your name spelled on your checks? You can order a 3-month supply or a 6-month supply, which works better for you. Click the Buy Now button. You see, selling is about leading. Selling is about moving people to action. Selling is a leadership position. If you're going to sell, you have to lead and guide your prospect to take action. So you have to ask for the business. But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be scary. When you're following a system, it's actually fun. It's fun because you know what you're going to say. So if you're feeling anxiety around the sales process, it's probably because you've never had the opportunity to learn about sales the way I'm teaching you right now. But when you come in prepared, when you've set up your presentation properly, when your prospect understands that you are there to ask for the business, when you do it in a way that's elegant, not pushy, and you know that you're just giving them the opportunity to purchase from you if they choose to, selling can actually be a very fun process. So the final close is where you ask for the order. Okay, so the next idea I want to share with you is something about sales process. It's all about sales process. And here is a visual, one of my favorite ideas, another favorite idea that I've learned from my coach, Eric Lotholm. This is a picture of what we call the sales mountain. This is a way to help us visualize the sales process. Now, I'm going to go into much more detail of what each step represents in the workshop that I'm going to be telling you about. So for now, I just want to give you an overview of what the sales mountain represents. So here's the concept behind the sales mountain. You, as a sales professional, you are a mountain climbing guide, and it is your job to lead and guide your prospect from the base of the mountain. You see on the bottom left-hand side where it says lead generation. So it's your job to lead them all the way up the sales mountain to what we call the sweet spot, which is the top 25% of the mountain, and that's where you close. So there's two main ideas I want you to understand looking at this visual as we talk about the sales process. First of all, that there is a sequence to sales. You see, selling is actually a series of smaller steps that goes in a certain order. You see, first comes lead generation, then comes appointment setting, then comes trust and rapport, and so forth. Each of those is a component to an effective sales presentation. Now, there's a reason why the steps are in the order that you see. Why trust and rapport comes before identify customer needs, which comes before share the benefits. There's a reason for all of that. So in the workshop that I'm going to be going into, I'll give you all the details about why it's important that you follow this particular order in every presentation, why this is so persuasive. But for right now, I just want you to understand that there is a sequence to the steps in the sales process. Now, really, there is nothing hard about what you see here. I can teach this to you. It's kind of like a combination lock. You remember those locks you had when you were back in school? Maybe you've got one down at the gym. Well, now, if I give you a combination lock and I ask you to open it, but I don't give you the combination, it's very unlikely you'd be able to get it open. You would struggle to try to open it. But if I give you the combination, then of course you could open it the first time and every time after that. Well, sales is like that. If you're trying to move your prospect to take action, but you don't know how, in other words, if you don't have the combination to the lock, then selling can be a real challenge. But once you learn the combination and someone teaches you how to deliver an effective presentation, then selling becomes a simple, repeatable process for you, and you will consistently close sale after sale after sale. Okay, so the second idea I want you to understand just by looking at this picture of the sales mountain is that because selling is actually a series of smaller steps, if you want to improve your sales results, you don't have to tackle the entire process at once. You can focus on and just improve one step at a time. So you focus on just one, for example, trust and rapport. You just focus on that, strengthen trust and rapport, and then once you strengthen that, you can move on to another step in the process. And once you strengthen any one step, that's going to improve your overall result. So imagine that you have learned the proper sequence for your presentations. And now you've strengthened each step of the process, and now you have that skill set for the rest of your career. Imagine that you are now easily closing sale after sale after sale. What is possible for you. You see, this is what I'm going to teach in my workshop. We're going to break the sales process down into the steps you see here, and we're going to teach you how to strengthen each step. Okay, so all those are things you can add to your baseline as part of the outer game. But now we're going to move on and talk about action, the last piece of the puzzle, taking action in your business so you can reach your sales goals. So I want to do with you guys one of my absolute favorite exercises. I love this exercise. This was also taught to me by my coach, Eric Lofholm, and it's something that's called the what level exercise. So it goes like this. Imagine that you and I are in a ballroom and you're seated along with a large audience. Now the way the exercise goes is that I'm going to say to all of you, good afternoon, and you all are going to say good afternoon back to me at a level 6. On a scale of 1 to 10, you're going to say good afternoon back at a level 6 in terms of energy and enthusiasm. Okay, you ready? All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. And then you say back to me, good afternoon. Okay, perfect. So that first time we played it was a level 6. Now, let's try it one more time. I'm going to say good afternoon to you, and you say it back to me, but this time at a level 8 on a scale of 1 to 10. Give me a little more energy and a little more enthusiasm. Okay, you ready? Good afternoon, everyone. And then you say back to me, good afternoon. All right, perfect. So, first time we did it was level 6, then we did a level 8. All right, we're going to do it one more time. This time, I want you to play at a level 10. All right, give it all you've got because this is the last time we're going to do it. All right, good afternoon, everyone. And then you all roar back to me, good afternoon. Okay, that was great. So the first time we played at a level 6. The last time we played at a level 10. The first time we played it was a level 6. The last time we played at a level 10. So here's my question for you. Over the last 30 days, as you've been coming to work or running your business on a daily basis, what level have you been playing at? In terms of attitude and enthusiasm, what level have you been playing at? But you know what? The level 10 metaphor can apply to all areas of your life, not just in business. So, over the last 30 days, what level have you been playing at in your health? What level have you been playing at in the relationships with the people that mean the most to you? You see, my belief is that you get out of life what you put in it, and all the rewards are there for those who play all out. Now, who gets to decide what level you're going to play at? That's right, you do. So if you want to play all out and get the best results you have ever gotten, you have to get yourself to do two things. You have to get out of your comfort zones, and you have to get yourself to take new action. Now, one new action all of you have the opportunity to take is to participate in my upcoming Sales Breakthrough Workshop. The investment for the workshop is $399 for 6 weeks of professional sales training. But I have an irresistible offer for you. That just means it's going to be really easy for you to say yes to. But first, let me give you all the details of the workshop. Okay, so the workshop is actually going to be held virtually via webinar, just like we're doing today. So you can benefit from all the training I'm going to be sharing without leaving the comfort of your own home. The workshop consists of 6 one-hour sessions. Each session will be part lecture and part hands-on exercise. So I want you to come prepared to do some work, because this is your chance to customize the ideas I'm going to be sharing for your business. Each session will be recorded, so if you can't attend the session live, you'll still be able to benefit. You can always watch later at a more convenient time. And at the end of the workshop, you'll be able to get a copy of each session so you can review the content as often as you would like. During the workshop, you will learn how to generate unlimited leads, how to set unlimited appointments, and how to close easily and consistently. You're also going to learn how to overcome objections, and you'll create a powerful follow-up system so you never leave a deal on the table again. The workshop comes with an unconditional 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're unhappy for any reason, just let me know and I will refund 100% of your tuition. So there is no risk. All right, so here is the irresistible offer I was telling you about. You see, when you register today, you will receive a $250 discount that makes your total investment only $149. That's less than 25 bucks per session. So this is a total no-brainer. So to register, go to moresales.jmglobalventures.com. That's moresales.jmglobalventures.com. All right, I just have one final message for you. I want to close with my mentor, Eric Lofholm's famous closing line. If you like it, you have our permission. You can certainly use it too. And it goes like this. Whether you sign up for the workshop today or not, you pay either way. Yes, there is an investment in the training. The investment is $149 for in-depth professional sales training. But there is also a cost in not being professionally trained in sales. And that's all the sales you'd be leaving on the table because you didn't have access to this powerful information. That could cost you tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. So don't let this opportunity pass you by. Go right now to moresales.jmglobalventures.com and register today. All right, thank you so much for spending this time with me. Now, let's go out there and make some great things happen.